Episode 208. The commotion at Star City. Serena looked at him sympathetically and revealed her card. Keith almost jumped. Even Jake couldn't help grinning. Rubbing her hair, he whispered, "Well done." Looking at Serena's hole card, Dillinger saw the 10 in spades, and his breath quickened. He cursed. Sitting down, he panted and waved his hand. "Again." "I'm done." She yawned and leaned against the back of her chair. "I'm very sleepy now. Give us the thing back and we'll go home." "You want to leave after winning?" James's face darkened. Hearing that, Serena argued. "Of course. Do I have to leave after losing? Look at the time. I'm pregnant, and you don't want to be held accountable for depriving my baby of its sleep. Don't go back on your word. You said you would give it back if we win." Seeing her look, Jake was reminded of the unruly Serena before they got married. In the past, she was unreasonable with her loved ones, but now she was fighting others with her temper, which felt nice. James was speechless. Keith stared at him coldly. He reached into his leather jacket and took out a gun. Caressing it, he warned, "I wanted to play with you honestly. Don't push me." Seeing that, Dillinger's men became worried as they whispered, "What should we do? Are we really giving the emerald back to them?" Seeing the gun, James was a bit pale as he was not expecting this. "Did I say that I'm not giving it to you? What are you doing? Then hand it over and cut the crap." Keith looked unkind. James took a deep breath before he took the emerald pendant off his neck under the fur coat and threw it at Keith. Shocked, Keith caught it and checked that it was intact. Then he let out a sigh of relief. "Let's go," Jake whispered. Keith nodded. "You guys go first." He was afraid they were going to sneak attack. He wanted to protect Jake and Serena. James scoffed. "I'm not that despicable." Keith chuckled. "Don't overthink it. I'm only taking our money. You asked for 50 million, and count your 50 and take it. The rest is ours." James was even more upset. At his command, his men went up to count. Serena yawned and checked the time. It was past 11 p.m. No wonder she was exhausted. Jake took her downstairs and asked the doorman to drive the car over. After waiting for 10 minutes in the car, Keith was still nowhere to be seen. Serena asked worriedly, "Why is he not showing up? Go have a look." "All right, wait for me in the car." Jake kissed her on the cheek and walked out. After waiting for several minutes, Serena could not bear to stay there. That James Dillinger did not look like a good guy. What if something bad happened? She called Jake and found his phone was powered off. It was most likely that his battery had died. She did not have Keith's number. She walked out of the car towards Star City. The moment Serena reached the door, she heard people screaming. Someone with a cap and mask quickly ran out. She could only see his eyes. When the guy saw her, he gazed at her briefly before running ahead. However, people started to gather around him. Several people in casual clothes were holding guns, yelling, "Freeze! Police!" The guy stepped back, but he was surrounded by the plainclothes officers. Everyone was running, afraid they were going to become casualties in the crossfire, and Serena was no exception. However, she was the closest to him in the crowd. He came over and grabbed her hand, yanking her close. She screamed in terror. "Don't touch me! Let go!" A sharp knife was placed in her face. Her first reaction was to struggle. "Don't move." His voice was muffled behind the mask and broken by his panting. However, She felt it was somehow familiar. "I will not hurt you if you play along." His voice was so low that only the two of them could hear it. She became quiet, but her heart was still racing. Biting her bottom lip, she found herself shuddering. "Go away, or I will die with her!" the guy roared. Walking out with Keith, Jake immediately heard the noise. Having a bad feeling, he walked up and saw his wife being held hostage. His heart almost stopped. With his complexion pale, he walked up and said calmly, "Don't be impulsive. She's my wife, and I am Jake Robinson. You should know me." Glancing at Jake and then Keith, the guy tightened his grip on Serena and stepped back. "Ask them to let me go. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what I would do." Pale and nervous, Jake's eyes were extraordinarily calm. "Okay, listen to me. She's pregnant right now and could not take any risks. If she or the baby is hurt, you should know that I am definitely capable of killing you." The guy sneered. "Of course, Jake Robinson, who doesn't know you. However, I'm not the one who's endangering your wife, these cops are. Ask them to go away." "Didn't you hear him? Move!" Jake roared. "Let him go! Move!" an officer cried. "The priority is the safety of the hostage!" The cops silently moved back. A policewoman gritted her teeth and said reluctantly, "It's not the first time for this person to smuggle and sell drugs. It took us a lot of work to catch him red-handed." However, Jake's dangerous look made her swallow her words. The criminal stepped back with Serena in his hands slowly and steadily. He looked back from time to time in case anyone jumped him. Checking the surroundings, he was very cautious.